All right, doing a video of the steering column assembly. The last video I did was the video assembly of the blinker unit, and then I'll move on to the remaining assembly. All right, for starters, we're going to work with the main steering shaft at the base here. So I completely cleaned this up. And so for starters, we got this washer here that goes on first. Okay, and then we got a threaded plastic sleeve. There's two different sides to it, so you want to make sure you want to go in the right way. The spring here gets inserted into this plastic, so there's a little lip on this that the spring sits on. So make sure that you know which side is which, because the spring doesn't go in this way. If you turn around, it fits in this way. So make sure that it goes in this way. Okay, and then you thread cap. Yep. That also goes in a specific way. So it goes in this way. Okay, and then you spring like that, and this is an adjuster, so for your lower bearing, so you can unscrew this or screw this to get that lower bearing nest adjusted. So we'll tighten it down all the way for now. Okay. All right, and then we'll move on to the inner shaft. And when I took this apart, this section here had some type of sound deadening material or vibration pad of some sort wrapped around it. So it was almost the exact same thickness as a sound deadening material that I had already cut and wrapped around it. So that's one of the things that's not shown on some of the directions. And then also same with this ring here. On all the assemblies I've seen for steering columns, this ring is not shown. And that ring is the first thing that goes on here, and it goes on like that right there. And what it does is, for the next thing that goes on is a spring, and it holds that spring in place versus just going against the shaft, because after a while that spring will expand. So you got to put, so there's two sides to this one. So the smooth side and the other side, it's kind of like a cup, has an edge to it. So the smooth side goes down, the other side up, like that. Okay. And your bearing goes on your spring. Okay, and then we feed that shaft into it, everything. So that lower bearing should be nice and snug. So a little difficult to push down. Okay. Spring. Like that. Okay, and it sticks out the other end. Okay, and then this whole assembly then slides into the main crunch tube. So it slides in there, and there's some holes that line up, and then we've got our clip. Okay, there's this notch here, and one here. Those line up like that. So, that's your clip, holds it in place. Okay, so that now should be locked in. Okay, now we've got the top end, and then we've got this little plastic sleeve here. There's only one way it goes in, so it's notch right here lines up with this notch here. Okay, and then these notches here and here, okay, they face down because they slide and lock in to that little notch that's there and there. I'm gonna pause it when I get it in there. Alright, that was a little hard. I had to put it on the ground and stand it up. So there it is. Slides right in. Alright. And then from there, I'll put our assembly on. All right, there were some parts that I didn't show in the original photo. So we have the remaining cups and fittings for the steering column that goes together. So this goes on first. So you take that, you can slip it all the way down. Just kind of get it out of your way. And then the sucker goes on there. So there's a notch right here. Okay. Right there. Okay, that lines up with this. Right there. Okay. So you slide that sucker on there. I'm going to put it on the ground and push it on. Alright, so as soon as you push that on, get nice and snug. So, alright, and then this is where you got to fish your wire through. So your wire, these wires here, run along there, like that. Oh. Okay. And slide on your upper bearing. Now this is the tricky part. This is where this plate here, this plate has to line up with the notches inside. All right. So on the top here, you have this wide gap here. Okay. Then your wire, and then a thinner gap here. Okay. So this notch here goes here, and these two notches that are close together, these two, go in the wider one here in this circle here. So you have to fit it just right to get on top. Okay. Like that. So you should have a little bit of play. I'll take that off and I'll show you kind of what's going on that in that play. Okay, see these springs? Springs here, that's that give that you're getting. Okay, so these need to be adjusted when you go to reassemble it. Now I can get back on. Okay. All right, now that we've got that done, so now we've got two washers. This one here is kind of like a little spring-loaded washer. There is a smooth end and then rough end. So the smooth end goes down top of the bearing. Washer, and then your clip. So in the process, I totally forgot to grease the bearing. So I had to take it apart, put it back together. So don't forget to do that. So again, spring, smooth side down. Washer. And your clip. Okay, I got the pin in. It was a little difficult just because it's so hard to get in there. What I basically did was got a not too bad piece of half-inch PVC T. Slip that sucker right on there, and then pushed it down. At the same time, had the clip and try to slide it in, at least get it in just a little bit, and then just pry the rest of the way in. That seemed to work for me. So that when that is on there, when you finally get that on, it should be nice and snug now. So when you go to turn this, okay, smooth, and you should be able to grab down here and move it. You shouldn't be able to move it up and down. It shouldn't have any play at all whatsoever. And so this is where you start making the other adjustments. So down here is make your adjustments.